Hey girl. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
I I actually took a deep breath and my rib hurts.
Um,
Yeah, it's long story. But okay, please introduce us to yourself.
okay. I'm Paula Court. I'm a certified holistic health consultant. I've been doing my business since 2010. Um, and as a result, my clients and people that I speak to and do speaking engagements with, as you know, they learn ways that they can reduce pain and take care of themselves better and just reduce health issues that they may have. So if they have stomach issues, digestive issues, I help them with that. Um, and just help people reverse illness and do it in simple ways by teaching them through diet, lifestyle, with simple tips, just easy recipes. As you know, I don't believe in giving people um, everything but the kitchen sink in their recipes. So I've built an online store during this pandemic, and all my recipe books, they don't have a lot of ingredients, but most of them are based on for people that have things like autoimmune, food allergies, food sensitivity. So they're all like gluten free, sugar free, dairy free, all of that. There are a few other books in there, so feel free to rummage through there. It's enrichyourhealth.com, and there are a couple of free gifts on there as well. You just go under reversing illness is $0, and a 6 meal plan guide is $0. So if you just go under that, you'll see it for $0. But enough about that. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about me and what I do. So yeah, I like to just help people take their health back and do it in a simple way. Mm-hmm.
So how do we know each other?
How do we learned of each other and met each other through Social Builders Club, through AD Walker, yeah. Um, and that's when we started going live a little bit more. I had gone live quite a bit when I was back in Massachusetts. I moved from Massachusetts to North Carolina last year. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I did a lot of lives when I was in Massachusetts, but then when I was getting ready to move for about a good year, I kind of put it on the back burner because I was trying to move and get everything all settled. And then when I came to North Carolina, I had, um, you know, unpacked, had to find a place to go to be, and then I met AD Walker through Ruben Arana on Paradise,
oh.
yeah, Worship Word Art. Um, and so from there, we just started going live. He wanted people to start. I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to start jumping back in, get that practice again. And yeah, that's how we started getting going on that again. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can you tell us what is Lyme disease and how often is it misdiagnosed?
Ooh, Lyme disease is a really, really tough illness. It's misdiagnosed. If I had to guess, probably a good 80 to 90% of the time. It's an autoimmune illness. People get Lyme disease by getting bit by a tick, but there are other ways it can be transmitted. Some of those ways, I'm not going to lie, how do I say it? It's not totally proven, but there are studies out there. So there are other ways that it can be transmitted. The original host was a person got bit by a tick, but it can come from mother to child, um, blood transfusions, um, transmitted. Um, what are the other ways? I'm trying to think. But those are the a couple of the ways. We believe, because I was going to all the group meetings in Massachusetts for Central Mass Lyme. I was a part of the foundation for the uh, conferences that they would do. I help with that, and I help with the foundation too. So people get bit by a tick, they get sick, and they get sick right away. And then you know what was wrong with them. A lot of people think they have fibromyalgia. A lot of people think, or they get and this is what they get diagnosed with: MS, fibromyalgia. The woman who started Central Mass Lyme Foundation, her mom had ALS. She was diagnosed with ALS. It was really Lyme disease, and she did die from it. She took my raw food class. I taught whole. It's just about teaching whole food, how to eat whole foods without cooking. So raw food isn't like raw hamburger or anything stupid like that. And I taught raw food classes back in Massachusetts, and she and her husband took it, and that's how we connected. And he wasn't feeling well at the time. Fast forward, they found out he had Lyme disease. So it's basically when you do have it, like I said, these are some of the symptoms, and it's very related to lupus. So what we're finding, what I find, I don't know why, I couldn't tell you why, a lot of people that are African American, they're diagnosing with lupus, and more of the Caucasian community, they're diagnosing with Lyme disease, if they even get diagnosed at all, or like fibromyalgia, something that falls under that umbrella. Fibromyalgia, MS, ALS, Parkinson's, they're all similar. I don't know if they're it for sure. Like I said, studies are out there, they're saying it might be, but nothing is proven. So everything I say, take with a grain of salt, do your own research. It's not proven, so I don't want anybody to like rebut me. Oh, how do you, you're lying, da da da, you know what I mean? But like fibromyalgia, they can't really test it. Most people with fibromyalgia have like a rheumatoid arthritis type symptoms. They go to the doctor and they basically just, say, oh, you're in pain, da da da. It's either rheumatoid arthritis or it's fibromyalgia. But there's no like blood test for it. But for is they can do an ELISA and they can do a Western blot test. The ELISA test usually comes back in a couple days, and it's only about 50% accurate. And a lot of the times, what happens is they'll say it's negative, but there's other bands that could be positive, and they just kind of shoo you away. Like, oh, it's negative, see you later. They don't push for the Western blot test. So people don't know what's wrong with them. They don't know that they need to get a Western blot test, and even that's only 80% accurate. So it's a tough, tough illness. It affects the nervous system. It affects every body part, basically. But some of the symptoms, if any of you are out there, like I said, fibromyalgia, MS, those types of things, joint pain, it affects like the knees, the hips, Bell's palsy sometimes, strokes sometimes, can't remember things, like things at the tip of your tongue, and especially for younger people, younger kids, they're lethargic all the time. It's not that they're lazy, they're not well. Something's going on. Their cognitive attention is different. They can't pay attention. Sometimes they get a motor tic disorder from the nervous system. They have an issue called like Lyme brain, and that's where they get very forgetful. So like I said, so for older people, they're like, yeah, they're just older, it's dementia. But for younger people, say they can't remember how to get home. My friend Darlene she couldn't remember how to get home. She's the same age as me, I'm 52. And her husband would be like, what do you mean you don't know how to get home? They call it Lyme brain. It's really a thing. So, even another woman in our group, she couldn't find her way home sometimes, but she was like, thank God for GPS. So it's really debilitating. Affects the kidneys. What happens is you get like spirochetes in your body. It affects a lot of different things, the gut especially. And the way it affects the gut, and this is how I kind of fell into the picture. I help with food allergies and digestive issues, and food sensitivities is my biggest niche. And it affects the gut. Either the spirochetes eat away at the gut, or by taking all the medicine, that doesn't help either. So the digestion is really off. A lot of times people get multiple food allergies, food sensitivities from either the spirochetes themselves or the medicine that they're trying to take to get well. They crave sugar a lot. They get candida a lot. And that feeds the illness because the illness lives in an acidic body. So the more sugar you eat, you're just feeding the illness, but they crave it like really bad. It's really hard. So when they eat the sugary things or gluten, they get more pain. So another symptom, like I said, if you're eating gluten or sugar, a lot of pain. It's just something to be aware of. Not to say you have Lyme disease, but you may have an autoimmune issue and something going on there. I don't even say it's always Lyme anymore because, like I said, a lot of things fall under that umbrella. the lupus, the Lyme, they're all very similar. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, full disclosure. Don't anybody rebut me. This is just the things that I've seen along the way. I've been to Lyme disease conferences with the big doctors. They even back you up on it, but they'll say the same thing. You know, the studies are out there, but we can't say for sure, you know.
Thank you for sharing. That was very educational.
Yeah, you're gonna like
Okay. So
yeah.
how does one break a bad habit?
How does one break a bad habit? Well, there's one saying out there that, you know, it takes 21 days to break a bad habit. That's one. The other way is just to have structure. So I found, even for myself, even in business, and I've got to do it a little bit more. I started doing it when I moved back here, and then I had all hell break loose. I was in a car accident and all kinds of things happened. But a tracker is really helpful, or any kind of app, or like if it's say it's for fitness or just to lose weight or that type of thing, Fitness Pal, those types of things. Um, because then you can structure yourself. You can really record. Recording is really helpful. If you can't write it down, you're too busy, you don't want to write things down, I always say record on your phone. So set time blocks, you know, use apps that help you set time blocks. That's a good way to set habits. Even budgeting your food, meal prep. It's all about organization, right? It's all about, you know what I mean? Set different times for different things. Hey, I'm going to get up, I'm going to have breakfast. Be ready, you know what I mean? Be ready, even if you're working from home. Like what I do is I set up a few meals for the week anyway, because it's still easier, you know, that I've got a few things already ready for a few days and then start over. You know what I mean? So then I'm not always having to cook something every single day, you know what I mean? Unless you enjoy that. Some people do. But I like to have some things already ready. You know, there might be a day I'm just not in the mood to get all the pans out, got to do the dishes, you know what I mean? So that's how you develop the habit, you know, plan things out, do meal prep on like whatever day you're off, Sunday, whatever. Um, and fit your exercise in too, you know, get up at a certain time every day. Can't do it outside. It's going to be starting getting cold, like in places like New England, Massachusetts. Well, what can you do? Can you go to a mall? Can you go to a hospital? My mom used to walk at a hospital. They had like a lap that you could walk around, you know, so if you can't go outside, what can you do inside? Can you get, like I brought, I had every piece of gym equipment back in Massachusetts you can imagine. And I got rid of most of it. Because I'm like, now I'm moving, I don't know what I'm going to be living in, right? And where am I going to put it? So, I mean, I could have put a big chunky treadmill in, or I didn't know if I could, you know. So I got rid of most of it, but I have like an exercise stick with the resistance bands that come down. So that's really helpful. You know, I can do a lot of resistance training with that. So I do that every couple of days. Um, so things like that, you know, if you can't fit things in your apartment, your condo, your home, you don't want bulky stuff, get things like that. You know, it doesn't even have to be a stick. Get the resistance bands, you know, get something that hooks over your door. Do that kind of stuff. As far as cardio, like I said, you know, that can be a little harder in a home. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you have the room, get a bike or a treadmill. Just don't get anything too clunky, because if you don't use it, be able to put it aside for a little while. I had one, and I used it in phases. I'd go a little while, I'd use it, and then I'd put it away, and then you know, so get something that it's not going to be in the way all the time, but that way, when you have those habits in place. The other thing I'll say is get a coach like me. If you can't do it on your own, that's why I'm here. I'm here to coach you, to cheer you on, help you, give you tips along the way, you know, because a lot of us can't do things on our own. You know, we just can't. I know even for me, like when I lived in Massachusetts, I used to go walking with my neighbor. There are a lot of days. I was working 40 hours a week at the time. I worked in a prison for 22 years. I come home and I'm like, man, I just want to chill. And she'd be knocking at my door and it's like, okay, let's go. It's beautiful out. Let's go. So sometimes you need that a buddy, you need a partner, somebody to help you and just get you going. So that's another thought. Get a partner, or do it if you're not alone, like you don't live alone, get your family involved. Get people to help you make meals and things like that. You just because you're gonna eat healthy doesn't mean your family can't make that. I don't want to say make them.
But make them.
That's negative, but find ways to get them to do it with you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Try different foods every week. Say, hey, I'm trying this. Do you want to try this with me? You know what I mean? Do it in a positive way, because if you make them forget it. I was a very picky eater. I used to give my carrots to the dog. I'd be like handing them under the table till the dog was like laughing his chops. Yeah. My parents finally figured out that the dog was getting my vegetables. I would not eat my vegetables, none. So, the more you try to force things on people, not a good plan. Not a good plan.
True.
Try to make it fun. If you've got kids, grow stuff. Depending on where you live, maybe you could grow stuff inside, some herbs.
Oh, that's
Get
a
them
good
in the
idea.
kitchen with you. Like I wasn't allowed in the kitchen because I mean, I understand it. My mom, she didn't want to waste food because, let's face it, it's trial and error when you cook and you make things. She didn't want to waste anything, so I wasn't allowed in the kitchen until I got older, much, much older. Let your kids in the kitchen. Let them help you make stuff, and they'll get pleasure in that. Especially now, kids are home and they're home being homeschooled and all that stuff. Um, it gives them a little sense of self-esteem, and it just really helps if they're a part of it. So even if it's healthy, they may be more apt to eat it because they were a part of it. They helped grow those herbs. They helped grow, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
that's
really good idea.
yeah. So those are some ideas. Whether you're single, whether you've got kids, families, whatever, do what you can to not make being healthy negative. What's good about it? Everybody used to say, oh, eat vegetables, it's good for you. But I never realized, here's a good story for you. I developed multiple food allergies. And that's hence the reason why I was teaching about food classes and all of that, because I started studying nutrition and I went to school for it. So, I lost my train of thought.
You were saying that you developed food allergies
I developed food allergies. Oh, I know what it
because
was.
of vegetables.
Yeah, I didn't eat healthy. And as I got older, I started to eat a little bit healthier, but not enough. Not quite enough to where I needed to be. So, and I was tired all the time. Well, here's how do I want to say it? Something that made me realize that healthy foods do help you and do make you feel good. I had to really clean out my body when I got the multiple food allergies. I wasn't eating sugar. I couldn't eat anything because I would go into anaphylactic shock. So I was starving myself. Um, so one day I reintroduced, started to, like I was trying to eat healthy and introduce things to myself. Well, I had kiwi. Kiwi's loaded with sugar, good sugar, right?
Hmm.
Oh my God, I could have ran a marathon. I had so much energy from the sugar and the fruit because I had cleaned my body out and it wasn't used to that. You know what I'm saying? That was my wake up call. That was like, oh my God, people are right. Changing your food habits really does work. You know what I mean? I never saw it before. I know, I would eat a little bit of healthy here and there, and I was still tired all the time. But it's because I had food allergies and I didn't know it. I didn't know it. Yeah.
What
So,
is, I'm saying this wrong, and I tried to practice it, but I'm just going to read it from the paper. What is aloe vera, AE?
oh, aloe vera is a supplement company, all plant based foods, and they have aloe in a lot of their products based on the aloe vera plant. And they have a product called Ace Mannin in it. And it's very,
Mm-hmm.
It's healing for the gut. It can be helpful for things like Crohn's, colitis, Lyme disease. Their products are really helpful for, because they have the ace-mannan, which is very, it helps restore the immune system. Not just boost it, but it helps restore it. Again, full disclosure, nothing can cure, mitigate, heal anything. We just help you heal your own body. So they have like one product that's called Immune, which is awesome, which I am taking. Um, and it really does. It helps restore the immune system, which is perfect for right now, for especially people that have autoimmune issues, but for anybody, because we've got these illnesses going around, fall's coming up. You know, we've got COVID. There's probably going to be more strains of it, and the flu's coming around again. So it's just really helpful to take that. It, like I said, it's got ace-mannan in it. They just came out with another brand new product. But if you go on my website, enrichyourhealth.com, with a U-R, ENRICHURHEALTH.com, and I believe it's under services. You can go on the website and see the products that they have. They have another product called Balance. Actually, I have one right here. This is Balance. This is still under the name Evolve. It used to be under Evolve, but it's now Elevea. This is good for hormones. And it's got, let's see if I can see it. I forgot what it's got in it. L-arginine, red sage, wild yam extract. So just some good stuff for balancing hormones. So yeah, it's in yam. It's got yams in there. It's got the ace-mannan in there. And it says hormone imbalance can affect sleep, cravings, appetite, mood, libido, and more in men and women. Optimum hormonal balance supports bone, brain, breast, cardiovascular, colon, and prostate health. And the other thing this company is doing is helping with Operation Underground Railroad, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen, the human trafficking, the sex trafficking. They're all getting caught. These victims are getting rescued, thank God. So one thing about me, it's really odd, but I'm very intuitive and prophetic, if people know what that means, Prophetic. And I've been kind of called to that era, like that area of human trafficking, to pray about it. So what's really funny is this came after. I joined Elevea a couple years ago, and now all of a sudden they've partnered with Operation Underground Railroad. And what they do is they help nourish the kids after they help rescue these kids. They help nourish with Elevea supplements because they're going to need nutrients. They're really malnourished. One of the things about me, like I said, I'm prophetic. I get visions sometimes of these things. These kids being in just horrific situations underground, just, and they look terrible. Straggly hair, greasy. I get visions of that. So if that's something you'd want to help with, you can help your own immune system, your family's immune system, and you can help Operation Underground Railroad nourish these kids as is getting rescued, because they're going to need a lot. They're going to need mental health help. They're going to need, they've just been through trauma, and who knows if they'll ever recover from that.
Yeah.
You know? So one, that's why I like Elevea. At least they're helping with the nutrients part, and at least build their bodies back up as far as nutrients go, you know. So yeah, if you're a prayer warrior out there, I just encourage you to pray over human trafficking and sex trafficking, for more of these people to get caught, and to pray for the victims to get divine resources, divine connections, to help them, that they don't wind up, you know, in a, I hate to say it, but sometimes, you know, another crappy situation, you know. So
Yeah.
a foster home that's no good, or like I said, I don't like to say that, but you never know. I was adopted myself. I was fortunate enough to have a good family, you know, so pray about that. So all these kids that get rescued, don't wind up in another bad situation. You know, maybe it may not be human trafficking, but it could be a bad foster home with drugs and alcohol and all of that. So
Yeah.
for these kids, pray for their to have good homes, you know, to have good homes and good intervention for their treatment as they recover, because that's something that I don't know about you, but we are not seeing anything about that. We just see that they're getting rescued, so we don't know what they're going through right now. So yeah, Elevator, great supplements. They've got a lot of things. They have Limitless, which is great for helping relieve things like joint pain because it's got beets in it, and I think it's equivalent to like 5,000 beats a day, and they're just little capsules. Brings down inflammation, so it's great for inflammation. So if you have any kind of joint pain, it will bring that down. It also opens up the blood vessels, so it helps like the immune work better. Or any other products that you might be taking, it might help it work better because it opens everything up. It even kind of helps a little bit with asthma. Like I said, no claims, just it can. Those are some of the things people have experienced with it. I'm trying to think what else they have. They have things you put in your water to give you more energy, like a tea. And then there's another one, Limitless Fix, I believe, you put in your water. So they have some good products. So if you want to check them out, you can go to enrichyourhealth.com, and I'm pretty sure it's under services, and it'll take you right to that website with all the products.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, what are your thoughts on the coronavirus and the wearing masks?
What are my thoughts? I don't know what's going on with this virus. I think it's really crazy. I don't think it's healthy to wear. I mean, it's hard if you're in a workplace, but I don't think it's healthy to wear it all the time. Like, let yourself breathe, because you're pulling in bacteria from the mask back into your body.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that, I be careful with that. You know, I was working for a grocery store, and every chance I got, I kept getting I would sip water, you know, because that flushes it out if it's coming in, and plus it would take the mask off and let me breathe, and so I'm not just sucking in all that what do you call it, bad bacteria from the mask. So just be careful of that. I don't believe you need it when you're outside, but I know there are laws out there, and certain states are different and all that. Because as far as I know, and like I said, this, if you can prove me wrong, but as far as I know, most viruses don't live outside. They don't live where there's oxygen. So I don't know how people are getting it outside. I don't understand that. So like I said, if you're a scientist or a doctor and you can prove it to me. I don't understand it. Because usually viruses don't live where there's oxygen, or illnesses don't live where there's oxygen, unless it's an illness like Lyme disease or something like that, you know what I mean? But you got bit by something, but to just go out and be outside and then get this illness, I don't understand it. It's supposed to, like, think about the flu, right? When we grew up, when the flu was leaving, like, you started to get better from it. What did mom and dad do all the time? Change the sheets, open the windows, air everything right, to get oxygen, to get breathing again. You know what I mean? So people never thought of it that way, but that's what it was doing. It was getting air. It was getting, you know what I mean? So I'm always telling people, open your windows, get outside. And I wouldn't wear the mask outside unless you're around a lot of people, just as, just be mindful of those people. Like if you're in an event or something like that, but to just go for walks or runs or whatever, I don't think it's healthy if you're walking or, doing any of that. But yeah, just be mindful of other people, and respectful, because they're going to want you to have that mask on if you're around them. But other than that, when you're outside, I don't feel like it's necessary, but that's my opinion. If you can, I'd love to just see people prove it wrong. Show me, how is it living outside? I don't get it, unless it's coming from something else. And then we could get into conspiracy theories. Well, so we won't go into that.
Well, I do have one question.
Yeah.
And if you feel uncomfortable answering, you don't have to. But do you think that there's a financial profit in keeping people sick?
Oh God, yeah, yeah. Not just
Elaborate.
not just with COVID, but a lot of it. Oh yeah, they make money off of flu vaccines. They make money off of all these pharmaceutical drugs. They make, of course they're just making more and more money off of all these drugs, and that's why they don't want natural supplements and things to help people. I mean, look at all the things they're censoring and shutting down. That's why I said we aren't even this video. We have to watch what we say because they'll probably shut it down. Yeah, so yeah, they're definitely profiting off of it. It's really it's sad, but I do believe people are waking up and they're starting to realize that some of this medicine is not doing them any good. And why am I on it? You know, when I could do something easier. So, I mean, I even noticed. I mean, this is how crazy. Not even just the pharmaceutical companies. Forget that. One thing I thought was nuts. I was working in a grocery store part time as a cashier, and when this pandemic hit, I would have thought people would be loading up on health food to just not get this thing, right? I mean, good Lord, it was so catchy, right? Holy crap. Those grocery carts were loaded, for the most part, with junk food and alcohol. Alcohol lowers the immune system, and that's all I would see on Facebook is everybody cooking and eating, and it was all crap, and drinking. Cooking, eating, and drinking, and soda, lots of soda, chips, ice cream, tons of ice cream. I'm saying to myself, why aren't they telling people to just boost your immune system? There was nothing out there. Just now, recently, they're starting to say it a little bit here and there, but it's still rare. It's still rare. And people are still not awake to it, I guess. How do I say it? You know what I mean? Like they're still,
Yeah.
if they want to have their junk food, they're still going to have their junk food. It's really amazing to me, but yet, here's the funny thing, they had to have the hand sanitizer and they had to have, the Lysol wipes and all of that.
Oh my gosh, so ridiculous.
You don't get it, do you? I would
Oh
never
my God.
tell anybody that coming through the line that wasn't my place, but I was thinking it. I'm like, oh my God, you just don't get it. That, you know, that's if you're eating like crap and drinking soda, your chances are a lot higher of getting it. Never mind the stupid sanitizer and all that stuff. No, I mean, it is what it is, but that's what kills me. They push this vaccine thing. Oh, everybody's going to need a vaccine and da da da. And like, well, why don't you just tell people to eat healthy? I mean,
Do you think they're gonna make it mandatory for everyone?
I think they're going to make it mandatory for kids, especially to go to school and all of that. Um, I don't know if it's going to be mandatory for everyone. We'll have to see. I don't want it. I don't,
I don't want it.
I had multiple food allergies, I'm about 95% better. I don't want any toxins in my system because I'll be back to square one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've come too far and it's taken too long to get better again. So I don't want those toxins in my body. People argue, oh, vaccines are okay. And if we didn't have vaccines, we wouldn't have this and we wouldn't have. That was in the old days. There was only a certain amount of things in those vaccines. And even then, they may have done something to us then, but it wasn't as much. You know what I mean? And it did the job that it was meant to do. But now we don't know what's in these things. And yeah, I don't care. Anybody can argue with me, argue all day. I don't want it in my system. I have a friend that really truly did die and go to heaven. She had a Hep B vaccine and she had a heart attack shortly after the vaccine. And she had been told that this has been 5 years, and she has been told that that toxin is still in her body somewhat. They overdid it. Yep. So she had a heart attack, a little bit older than me, but only a couple years. And yep, she had a heart attack right after that vaccine. So it was too much. And she's been fighting since then. She has a lot of the symptoms of like an autoimmune illness now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
hmm
so where can we like you, follow you, stalk you, all that fun stuff?
Well, join my Facebook group first and foremost.
Yes.
You're in there, I think, right? Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better at my eating. Trying's the main word.
Help, let me know. Like I said, I have all different tiers that people can get my help from. So like I said, I've got ebooks, recipe books on my website, enrichyourhealth.com. Go to the store. It is under construction. I added the store, and now I have like a double store. So there's one store on there that's probably empty, but just go to the second.
Yeah, it is.
It
Yeah.
don't be like, oh, where is it? It just go to the second one. I haven't figured out how to get that off there yet. But bear with me. Well, because that one, not to get too detailed, but that one was set up to be an actual store, so I don't want to delete it because I can put stuff on there. So when I added
Hmm.
this one, it just added it. I thought it was going to go on that section, and it didn't. It just added another store. It was like, oh God. So anyway, I don't want to delete it because I quite need it for other things. Anyways, so yeah, you can go to my website and go to the store. So that's one avenue that you can work with me. I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching. I'm going to be doing classes. Yay. So they will be recorded classes. There'll be live classes. So just watch for that.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to do both. I'm going to record some, and they'll probably be like an hour long, some maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, no more than two, because people get too antsy after that. But yeah, I'm going to do some classes on like defeating the pain, conquering food allergies, um, autoimmune, and building your immune system, all of that. So if there's anything that you're thinking of that you'd like a class on, let me know, and I'll build it so that we can do that too. So yeah, pretty soon I'm going to have them just recorded, and then I'll be doing them live. Probably I was going to do them live soon, but I think it's probably going to be more like after January because I'm starting full time in my other job. So I need time. Yeah, I need time. Uh,
Girl, you're doing everything.
and yeah, I have to move too. Um, but you can follow me on my Facebook group. Back to that, Enrich Your Health and Life. I'll put a link in the comments after the broadcast because it's hard for me right now. Um, but it's Enrich Your Health and Life on Facebook. It's a public group, and I just share a lot of helpful tips on there. I was doing some videos, cooking or making food every week. I've kind of slacked off on that a little bit. Having been to the store, so I didn't know what to make, but yeah, I'll be doing some more videos here and there on there, and yeah, join me on there because it's about on that group. I want people to just enrich all areas of their life, like not just health, but money and everything too. Right now, more than everything, we just have to get things in order, and we have to get our money right. We have to get our health right because there's so much coming down the line. Even last night, I saw on YouTube tons of layoffs and things going on. I've been hearing about the banking system, and here's a tip for everyone: keep your money in more than one bank because we may go through what we kind of went through in 2008, and that was when the banking system got bailed out because they were failing. So basically, if you don't know, if you're out there, what's happening right now, some people aren't paying rent, some people aren't paying mortgages. It's a kind of a vicious cycle, right? Well, what's happening to the banks? What are the banks going to do if they don't have that money? They could freeze your money to use your money if it comes down to it. So just be aware of that. That's kind of what happened in 2008. So keep your money in, different banks. I have heard before even this that credit unions can be a little bit better than an actual bank. So just keep that in mind. And if anybody out there is a money guru and you have better tips than me, feel free to put it in the comments because I'm not an expert, but these are the things I've been hearing about and that I do know. But yeah, just last night they're laying off tons and tons of Disney workers, airline
Yeah.
workers, because the PPP loans aren't coming through. So there's, people are going to really be scrambling. They're going to be learning, learning ways to make money. One of the things I've noticed right now, and no offense to them, kudos to them, but what are people grasping at right now? Where are people thriving? How to make money.
Yeah.
How to do business and how to make money. How to fix credit, how to make money. All of that. That's where everyone's thriving right now. So my group, I really want to help people to thrive. If I don't know how to do it, I want to get people on there that do know how to do it. How can we help you, keep from getting evicted or whatever it may be, or help you buy a home, help you, whatever it is that we all need, including myself. So I give help about health, but all areas of your life, because, you've got to have both. You've got to have both. A lot of times if you don't have money, guess what? Your health deteriorates because you're so stressed about it. So that's something about that. So it's Enrich, and then it's UR Health and AND Life, and it's a public group. And like I said, I'll put the link in the comments. You can just friend me on Facebook under my name, Paula Denoncourt, if you want to just be my friend. Instagram at Paula Denoncourt, if you want to follow me on Instagram. Those are the two platforms I'm on the most. I hope to be starting to do podcasts and YouTube pretty soon. So that'll be next. But it's all in stride. Like I said, oh man, everything's just happening at once. I have to move, and I'm going full time at my job, and hence the reason I have to move, because I have to be able to afford to live. But I'm still doing everything, and I'm still out there, so I'm not stopping. So yeah, if you're
doing,
yeah,
you're doing amazing. You're doing a phenomenal job. Okay, last question, because I feel like this conversation has been so heavy, and I want to end it on a silly note. Okay. Okay. So who is your celebrity crush?
Oh man, that's the one thing I never really. I don't.
Say it again.
Are you there?
Yeah, say it again. Go ahead.
Because I'm getting like an echo. I don't really have a crush. I've always liked certain people, but I never had really big crushes. I mean, George Clooney I liked, That's it, yeah. And I like people like Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that, but never big crushes. Yeah.
George Clooney has aged beautifully.
I know.
Oh, you're so silly. Well, thank you so much for this educational talk, and I hope YouTube is kind and doesn't take this video down. But if anything, it'll be here on Facebook.
You put it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on YouTube too. Yeah, and I'll like do the hashtags and like, because they've censored my videos for children, so kids can't watch my videos anymore, which I kind of don't care, but
yeah.
But I really do. Go ahead.
Everything we said, proven. Nothing is, everything is all up to you. You give you the knowledge and education, and it's all up to you and how you want to treat your own self and help yourself. That's basically what it comes down to, whether it's about wearing masks, whether it's about the illness itself, and all that. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to having new people in the group. And if anybody out there wants to do an interview or anything with me in the group, I love that too. So I'm open to that. If you want to do that, we can do that too. Maybe we could share this one. So yeah.
That'd be fun. Okay. All right. You enjoy the rest of your day, girl.
All right, you too. Be good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.